the Afrobeats Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another edition of Adesope Live, the official Afrobeats Podcast. This will be the final episode of the year where we'll be looking at some headlines that have caught our attention this week and the past 12 months. Tale of these artists on the day of the show, as well as during their stay in Uganda, where police officers...
That doesn't mean anything in Africa.
Talk to
Police officers in come on, Mopo in Africa, you can get them.
They switch in 2 seconds.
Honestly, you can get them on a day rate. Let's be honest, Shopsies.
By
the way, exactly. Endorsements in sports,
especially in America,
especially when you're loyal to your team.
Damn.
You're listening to Adesope Live, the Afrobeats Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another edition of Adesope Live, the official Afrobeats Podcast, sponsored by World Remit, supported by the likes of Afri Media, Fanbiz, LM Media, Al Maurice, the entire team. This will be the final episode of the year where we'll be looking at some headlines that have caught our attention this week and the past 12 months. Now, joining me to break down some of these stories is one of my close sisters who I've worked with quite some time, and we talk a lot and argue on the phone so many times. Please give it up for the incredible Laura L. of, is it London?
Yes, it
exactly.
is.
She's a music consultant, runs a PR agency. You run a whole lot, don't you?
I do, yes. Thank you for having me, Shopsy. I'm so excited and a fan of the Afrobeats Podcast. So super excited to be here, and I'm excited for this show to get on.
Nah, man, listen, it's a pleasure to have you on, and let's just have a look at some of the headlines that we'll be talking about. We'll first of all be looking at Omah and Tems being arrested in Uganda for allegedly breaking COVID-19 rules. The man that shows up online claiming to be Afrobeat star Kwame Eugene's biological father, and we look at some of the biggest news to shake the Afropop industry this past 12 months, as well as some of our favorite albums of 2020. Now, to kickstart this, we start in Uganda, where this past week, two of the brightest stars from Nigerian singers, Omah and Tems, were involved in one of the craziest stories of the year. Now, both performed at a concert in Uganda, and barely 24 hours after that, ended up in police custody for what the police claimed to be breaking COVID-19 rules against crowd gathering in Uganda. Sheesh. Now, the singers were seen in handcuffs and arraigned in court, with social media going crazy, with fans and celebrities from Nigeria to Ghana to the UK demanding for the Ugandan government to release the pair. Now, after involvements of many celebrities and the Nigerian Foreign Ministry, both singers were released after 48 hours being in custody and have since returned to Nigeria. Now, my sister...
Wow.
When... I'll tell you something funny. I was actually just collating the stories for the podcast this week.
Yeah.
And the first two stories that I had put up was the fact that Omah and Tems, including Rema, are spreading the Afropop gospel around Africa. Because Rema was in Cameroon, Omah and Tems were in Uganda. And within 24 hours of writing those headlines, everything went crazy, where they had been arrested. And to kick off the arrest, apparently one of the stars in Uganda, in Baby Cool, was the one that actually tweeted Omah's picture saying, how dare he hold a, concert in Uganda, especially as Ugandan artists haven't been able to perform for quite some time.
Yeah.
So it looked like there was some political...
There was definitely politics. I mean, politics graduates and all. So,
let's go.
So, I think definitely it goes just to show when we talk about soft power and the kind of soft power players in Africa, you have to think of Uganda, you have to think of Nigeria. And it just goes to show how the diplomacy goes on between two countries, because you've got superstars there in their prime. Why was not there a lawyer or somebody in place engaging in officials, those who are
But they said
in government.
But they said before the artists were billed to go and perform in Uganda, the promoters had assured the artists that everything was fine.
Assurance.
And remember, even part of the security detail of these artists on the day of the show, as well as during their stay in Uganda, were police officers.
That doesn't mean anything in Africa. Police officers come on, Mopo in Africa, you can get them.
They switch in 2 seconds.
Honestly, you can get them on a day rate. Let's be honest, Shopsy. So I think that's the problem. The problem is because you feel like if you have a police escort, it does not mean you have authority to move around like you should. And honestly, this is very important if we're talking about Afrobeats to the world, and we're talking about things like concerts and protocol. How has that not been picked up in terms of after your visa, you make sure that you're following the guidelines of that place. I traveled during COVID and I had to follow the guidelines.
But to be honest with you, remember Uganda is one of the strictest places in Africa at the moment when it comes to COVID-19.
Yes.
Before you can get into Uganda, you have to be tested.
Yes.
They tell you exactly what you're going to be doing. And you have to remember that these artists were also issued work permits to go into Uganda to perform. So the Ugandan government and security forces were already aware of what was going to happen ahead of time. So what changed their mind 24 hours later and making these people like scapegoats?
Do you know what I think? Honestly, I think they probably did the right thing, got the work permits, but they still did not get permission. So, for example, when you land somewhere now in COVID, you have to ensure, I isolate for this long, or I do certain checks.
Okay.
They didn't get the signature from the right person. I promise you. And then that artist that was bitter.
Yes.
Let's be honest, that person was bitter. That artist was definitely bitter.
Definitely.
I don't know if it was justified or not.
And you know that his Twitter went crazy because Nigerians went at. He was one of the people eventually that fought for the release of the two artists because it had become. In the UK, Uganda had over 350,000 tweets. In the United Kingdom.
Crazy.
And also Omah was trending. Omah and Tems were trending worldwide.
But have you heard their stuff this year? They deserve to be released. Have you heard what they gave us this year?
No, it's crazy.
Crazy work. Amazing project. So...
And for me, I was actually saying that, the first day when I saw the news that they had been arrested and I hadn't seen the video, I went on social media and said, wow, welcome to superstardom. Because I felt that once this whole wind had blown over, that they would instantly elevate to the next level. What's up, my people? My name is Adesope, aka Shopsy, aka the Energy God, and I'm officially on Fanbiz. Now, Fanbiz is a partner of Adesope Live, the official Afrobeats podcast. So you can hit me up on there if you have any questions about getting into the music industry, about the Afrobeats culture, and I'll specifically speak to you. Like I said, I'm giving free advice on Fanbiz at the moment, so make sure you join Fanbiz and hit me up for more information. But instantly when I saw the videos of Omah in handcuffs and Tems refusing to eat, then that got me a little bit. I'm thinking, come on, guys. They were locked up. They were treated badly.
It's a shame. But again, like I said in the beginning, it just goes to show how Africa as a continent, we really need to start working with each other. I mean, we're meant to be the biggest soft power of Africa in Nigeria, and yet there's no diplomacy where our biggest artists are in cuffs.
But shout outs to, I know I think he's the special advisor to the president of Nigeria,
Dabiri. So she's the diaspora.
Exactly. So she started engaging people on Twitter because Ron Town had tweeted at her and tweeted the Nigerian Forest Ministry. Yeah. But she started engaging people on Twitter and also said that they had started, diplomatic situations.
That's exactly what needs to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. So now, coming from what we saw, we saw them in court with Tems saying she hadn't eaten for 28 hours and was continuing the hunger strike for a further 48 hours. Omah in handcuffs telling the police officer, I'm not a criminal. Why are you putting handcuffs on me? That, for me, must have been a traumatic experience for these young bucks.
100%. And when you're a rising star, you're really, really going in that upward trajectory. When people are coming for you. It's not as if they were caught playing foul. They literally were caught in a loophole.
It was almost like a setup.
It felt like a setup. And if I'm honest with you, I would have been on strike too. I love my chicken, but I would have definitely been on strike because how dare you? And it's almost like you're using me as an example when really and truly, what have I've come to make money. I've come to spread my love, my music. Why am I
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
why?
Exactly.
What
And,
is the need?
and again, it was also it was almost like a sensitive position to be in, because instantly as Nigerians, our backs were up. With
Mm-hmm.
them, you look at Twitter and Nigerian Twitter starting to go at Ugandan fans and
Yeah.
starting to go at the country.
That's where
and that's where it's starting to become dangerous.
Definitely. I mean, this whole xenophobia.
Exactly.
This is where it begins. It's, you know, you did this to me
Yes.
and you did that to spite me. When really and truly, there is responsibility on the team. Whoever, I'm not going to shout out anyone's managers or anything, but whoever is on the team should really be ensuring that certain boxes are ticked. It's not enough to say you have a work permit. What is the rules for working under COVID conditions?
So I don't get in
what
trouble.
are the guidelines so I don't get into trouble? But then on the other hand, use some diplomacy and discretion. We do not have to have the biggest artist of 2020 in handcuffs because
That's
of that. It's it's theatrics. And if I'm honest with you,
it
it's
was
the
theatrics.
theme of 2020. Clouds.
Uganda, you know, they
let's come on.
And then one of the female stars in Uganda, I've forgotten what her name is, Cindy something.
I
She
saw
went
her.
on social media and she called Omah an idiot, and then within 6 hours,
She was
sadly, her nude pictures
came
came
surface.
surface.
You see.
So instantly, you're thinking, yo.
And you know that wasn't on Omale's team. It's
No,
just people
that's
that
just
are trying.
the fans that are not starting to
Yes.
target people
Yes.
and put stuff out.
That's
so I'm
the
thinking
danger.
that's the danger. This needed to be sorted out. Thankfully, they were released. They've flown back to Nigeria, and both of them released very nice statements which said they appreciate the love of the fans in Uganda.
Yeah, both governments.
They appreciate both governments coming together to
Yeah.
ensure that this type of situation was resolved. It was a traumatic experience. Tems even went further to say it gave her the opportunity to see the lives that some of the female prisoners were living in Africa, and some of the circumstances
That people are
on, so
Yeah.
again, even though it was a traumatic experience, they're bringing some positives from
I think
that.
it's I caught two lessons. One, Tems is gonna come out with a mad.
Oh my
It's coming.
Guess what?
It's
Both
coming.
artists
Yeah,
are incredible writers.
incredible.
So
You know, they touch like you're. Yeah,
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you know that this is going to bring about some of the most amazing content
I hope
that
we
we're
get a
about to
duet
see.
from them
That'll be
based
crazy.
on this.
That was sick.
and
Oh my
then-
Liz dropped a brand new video.
Oh gosh, tell me about
He
it.
dropped a brand new video.
Everyone's
today.
dropping new videos today. I've seen Terry. I've seen Caesar. Everybody's dropping
videos, but Omale is he's gonna catch
Yeah,
the fire because
yes.
the world's eyes are on him. He was on the Shade Borough.
Everywhere.
He was on
Everywhere.
every blog.
He
NWE
was.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Shout outs
Eating
everybody.
it up.
Sam Clef, my
Yes.
brother. Everybody's
Everyone's
focused.
eating it up,
Yeah.
definitely.
So even though it was a difficult, situation for them, I hope that eventually they get elevated.
The second lesson is, as an artist, don't feel like you can use somebody's misfortune as a come up. It's really not advisable. Like, take the high road, and that's for that lady. Take the high road.
Yes.
It's not cool. It's not cool because you don't want someone to do that to you. There's
Absolutely.
don't-
That
yeah.
lady, she put herself in a very difficult position. I went on her Instagram page, even Baby Cool. I went on his Instagram page and I saw my brothers and sisters in thousands in the comments.
Yeah, of course, because you make yourself a target because you show that you're willing to dig at people when they're down, and that's it's not cool. Come on, it's not cool.
It's not cool, man. We need to move on from that one. But shout outs to the entire team again. Even the security forces, the celebrities, Nigerian and Ugandan foreign ministry for coming together and just letting calm heads prevail.
Yeah.
We have to give them their props on that one. Now, we return over to Ghana, where singer Kwame Eugene is enjoying success after the release of his brand new album. The singer celebrated the new car on his social media and as one of many, many fruits of his labor and signs of his growing success. Now, Barely 48 hours after the social media posts, a man said to be Mr. Boakye claimed to be the singer's long-lost biological father. A video can be seen with the man narrating what he claims to be the story of how he lost contact.
How does a father get lost?
He said, with the young Kwame Eugene and his mom saying he only wanted the world to know Kwame was his son and wanted nothing to do with the singer's success or money. What are your thoughts?
We know now. Thank you, sir. Like, what? And then what? You know, I mean, I think this is something that we see a lot. We just see this a lot.
We've seen it with celebrities.
This, I'm sorry, I have to place under clout again because this year,
a lot of people are just going for it.
I think it's COVID. COVID is touching everybody, and I think it's like this whole I'm important. I need to be important. So the minute you see you have a family member or a son that's doing their thing, they're really doing his thing.
One of the parts that I wanted to touch on is Kwame's side. This is a young man that's, gone through the paces and the struggles with his mother and possibly his stepfather. He becomes successful, now starting to reap the fruits of his labor and supporting the close family that have been with him during that time. And all of a sudden, a sore spot like this comes up where a biological father or a long-lost family member goes into the media trying to, what would this even do psychologically to a young man who's in his prime now? How would that affect him?
I mean, definitely something that he's going to have to work through and address because it's out there now.
No,
it's in the that's the cons of social media. I mean,
and being a celebrity.
When you're a celebrity, anything can happen. People can decide that today I'm your father. Yesterday I wasn't your father for how many years, but today because you're popping, I am. He definitely will need a lot of support. That's if he wants to address it. Even if he doesn't want to have a relationship with his father, it's out there. Yeah. So he's kind of left him no choice.
Exactly. That's another thing I wanted to say. Now, people would start even judging you as a human being that, that's your dad. Maybe he's not in a good position. He might have done you wrong, but you're making some peas now. Aren't you going to take care of the man?
The dad has given everybody a chance to have an opinion. And I think it's wrong because that's also manipulation.
Absolutely.
But that's what people do. I mean, you got to love our parents. You've got to love our parents. I mean, it's interesting for him. I wish him well in that because that's going to be tough. I feel like he should try his best to take it off social media until he knows where he stands with that person.
I think he wouldn't even respond to it. He hasn't responded to it. But however, whoever's gone to dig this man out and to almost give him the platform to speak on this very sensitive and personal issue already has done, has put it out there.
Yeah.
And now, because it's Africa, it's Ghana, it's Nigeria. These are the sensationalized stories that we want to talk about. The fact that, that celebrity has a father.
Woo!
I know.
Yeah, so...
People love those stories, even though we forget that these are personal stories to human beings.
It's personal.
And it messes with, their heart, their minds.
There's so many dynamics when your father shows up. Can you imagine that? Especially for a man, a black man. Your father if he's truly who he says he is, there's so many things that he's going to have to unpack. And it's not for the public to be sitting there and judging. But as a celebrity, you have us, you have yourself, and you have your fans and the rest of the world watching.
You have a company that not only deals with music licensing and everything to do with music, but you also have an arm of the company that looks into public relations and media relations.
It's very
How
important.
would you advise your client at a very sensitive time like this, if it does pop up that one of your rising stars faces this issue?
I mean, again, the first thing I would do is have a social media blackout for that specific topic. I wouldn't say that artist stops what they're doing, especially right now. Someone he's busy.
He's
really in his prime. So I would not allow it to stop business as usual. But I would definitely say to, you're not responding on social media for sure. And if you want to give a press release, you can, but you're not obliged to because it has nothing to do with his music. It just doesn't have anything to do with his brand. It's not on brand, honestly. So if it was, then I would say, let's bring out the whole thing, maybe have a conversation about it. But to be honest with you, something like this, he can turn it around.
Yes.
If he's someone that wants to show more about his family and if he wants to delve into it, it could be an opportunity to have a TV production company on the other side of the table. What do we want to do with this? People need to understand that sometimes things present themselves, especially as an artist. It's kind of, what do you do with the
situation?
What do you do with what's on the table? Do you decide that I'm going to build on it? Is it something that this is going to
am I going to do a documentary discussing the traumas that young people face without their biological father?
Things like that, because that's something that a lot of people can relate to. A lot of people within the industry, they were raised by family friends, by aunties, by uncles, especially when you decide, like, this guy that you want to pursue music. It's almost like I don't want to hear it. So we don't know what the reason is to why he doesn't have his father around, if that's really his father, because it's alleged still, right? So I would advise him at my we have Gracie May. She's my partner, and she is a boss. So she works on, when it comes to PR, we are very, very strict. We have lawyers as well. So it's not even this is what we think you should do. We get the lawyer first and foremost.
That person advises you based on the law. What will be,
what will be, and then obviously an artist is a person. This is why I love music, because the product is the person as well. It's not just a take and go. It's a person. So you have to really understand that they may need some things like therapy, or they may need to have a conversation with somebody, and it's okay. Therapy. Yes, I said the word.
Absolutely.
Men,
especially
it's okay.
to a black man
people,
as well.
It's okay.
I'm going to be clapping, to that.
It's all of those things, but it's just remembering that you have that. It's actually important for all artists to have that part of the team, or somebody in the team working on your public relations, making sure that you look good no matter what is being flown your way. What you've planned, what you didn't plan.
Yep.
Have
there
that
must be
team.
somebody on the ground whose job it is to keep you on brand.
Yes, definitely. Yes, but if it was something else and it was on brand, you basically address it. You make it. You can even make it louder. But this, personally, if it was my artist, I would definitely be quiet on that matter. But go on, get on with it. Absolutely. But quiet on that matter, because it's very sensitive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking about sensitivity, we're going over to the United States of America as Nigerian Greek NBA superstar, aka the Greek Freak, Giannis Adetokounmpo, who is the reigning 2-time MVP winner, signs the most lucrative deal in NBA history after inking a 5-year, $228 million deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. That deserves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. After falling short of the championship in 2020 and, of course, in 2019, rumors started circulating that there was a possibility of him leaving for greener pastures, the bigger cities like New York, LA Lakers, Miami, Toronto. But after weeks of rumors and speculations, Giannis shut all of the news down with an announcement of the incredible deal via social media, claiming, in quote, "Milwaukee is my home," end quote. And he was here for the long haul. First of all, we're in the entertainment business, we're in the music business. You see situations where artists or performers get to a level of success, and the first thing they think about is moving to
taking flight,
going for greener pastures.
Yes.
What message does this type of deal send out, not only in the sports world, but also in the entertainment business, about loyalty?
Go where you are appreciated. Because he will not be staying with Milwaukee if he didn't feel appreciated, if he didn't feel like they understand his values. A lot of artists forget that you should be aligned with a team, a group, or whoever it is. They must be aligned with your values. There's a reason why he said 220. Cool, that's all right. I'm happy with that. But more so, if he felt as though I need to be in
the other place he could have given him that.
And he would have probably gone to the championships. And
yes.
That's probably not what he's looking for. Maybe he's looking for a place where he knows the people.
Yes.
They understand what he does. You know how hard it is to have a coach that you have synergy with.
Exactly. And he also said, he felt like Milwaukee was a place where he could raise his kids and settle his family. You have to remember, this is an immigrant, a Nigerian immigrant who was born and raised in Greece and had to move to the United States of America about 10 years ago.
It's hard enough
so
as
he's
it is.
felt like different places where home and not home and home and not home. So there was a lot of consideration put into this.
When it comes to being an artist or celebrity like him, there's always goals and metrics that you have that people can't see. And that's why when people are making very quick to shout about, oh, why didn't he do that? Or why didn't she do this? Or why did she leave? Or why did she leave? It's because the goals and metrics have to be aligned to that person's goals and like period. So if he's saying, I want to raise a family, I feel home here, I feel peace, finally for once in my life, why not?
Absolutely.
Why must he be? This is what I say to a lot of artists that come to me and say, I don't want to sell out shows. I'm like, that's okay. You might have there may be a different goal that is just as big.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be on, I don't want to do the O2. You don't have to.
Yep.
You might want to do 1 million streams. You might want to do 20 million streams, but you might not want to do the O2.
Absolutely.
You might want to have your show, your song in shows, in film. But you don't want to do that too. So it's the same with him. He may not want to go to the championships, but he's getting 200. How many?
$228 million for fighting, and that's just salary.
By the way, exactly.
Forget
endorsements in sports,
especially in America,
especially when you're loyal to your team.
Damn. Adesope Live, the Afrobeats podcast, sponsored by World Remit.
See that? So I think personally, he's done really well for himself. He knows where he wants to be. He's got a family.
Absolutely.
What again? People should let him enjoy his $228 million
in peace.
In peace.
And I like that. I like the fact that you mentioned the loyalty situation and just different goals and metrics that people do have. You know, you spoke about artists that might want their music in movies. That's actually a career for some musicians.
That is a career. That's what I do at Lord as well. So I try and I get them people's songs into like films that go on HBO, BBC, Netflix. That's it. And
some people are cashing out.
They eat like that quietly. They have a good year. And actually, do you know what? If you're even lucky, because of the film or the show or the whatever, the song starts popping on Spotify again or on YouTube. The views go up because everyone's like, I came. You can go on the comments on YouTube. I promise you'll see. I came here because of this XYZ show. I came here because I heard the song on XYZ program or documentary, and you're like, yes.
Wow.
That's, so there's different metrics, and this is what a lot of people, especially the fans, they need to learn to, they don't know. So when they're like, oh, why is so-and-so leaving? Then they've been there for 10 years. Maybe their goals are no longer aligned, and it's okay. Managers should also be aware of that as well. It's one thing for the artists to stay, but it's okay. Let them go. I think managers should get used to allowing artists to go. I don't think any manager should align themselves with an artist for life. If you have that synergy for life, Thank God.
But most times it's never
Let them go. Let them go. You don't have the same friends you had in primary school.
10 years ago.
Even in second. Even when you said you're going to do, you have plans, you have all these things. It's life. You let them go, especially if they're doing really well. You want someone to fly high.
Speaking about that, I'd like to segue. I didn't put this in, but about 2 weeks ago, Chance the Rapper, his former manager, came out and suing them for some crazy $1 million and whatever, saying that he had invested money in Chance the Rapper's career, that he hadn't been paid, and then he got fired. Look at those relationships. We hear a lot about managers, and guess what? There was never an official contract.
Mistake.
Talk to me.
Big mistake.
Talk to me.
Biggest mistake. I think no matter how much sentiment is inside a relationship, friendship, you can be brothers. You can be brothers. I can have a brother and I say, I want to manage you, there will be a contract. Because as far as I'm concerned, that is what holds in court. When I no longer want to talk to you, when you don't want to listen to me, the contract stands. When I'm acting up as a manager, the contract stands.
There.
When you're acting up as an artist, the contract stands. The contract is what binds us together, come rain or shine. And I think as human beings, we really want to think the best of ourselves and the other person next to you, but shit happens.
Things will just pop up.
Things happen. I cannot, God forbid, I cannot be here tomorrow and the contract needs to stand. The contract is going to tell you what I was owed or what needs to happen. Somebody else can join the party tomorrow, an investor.
Yep.
a label,
Yep.
a distribution deal, a publication, a publishing deal. Something will come up where you need that contract to know where you
be
stand.
able to say this
Yeah.
is what is due to you.
Or this is where I stand. This is just where I stand. So if somebody else joins the bus
That's
tomorrow,
fine.
it doesn't mean I have to get up from my seat or come off the bus. It just means I know where I am adjusted to. And people, a lot of artists, especially the ones that are coming up or maybe early in Chance's career, you just want everyone on board. So you're just okay, yeah, sure.
Do this.
No, have it in writing. It doesn't matter how tiny or how little, even if it's 1%. Because 1% of 100 million is what?
Yes,
1% of
1
$1 billion is
absolutely
a lot. So
yeah.
when you have the one, I cherish my percentages. I cherish my contracts, especially if artists that are coming up. The kind of thing that I do sometimes, I say, okay, I'll take a 5% of this or 5% of that or 2% of that, no matter what, or for these many projects. Cool.
Boom.
So whether or not nothing happens or they don't get the height they want now, I am still due my X, Y, M% whenever it does. Yes, so then he doesn't come back saying, I never got anything. Nobody told. No, I gave him thousands, and I've paid for art. You know, you invest in your artists. It's part and parcel of being a music professional. So you're going to invest. You know you're going to do that. So that's not the issue. The issue is it in writing to document what you've done or to document what you're owed. That's what is important because you know you're going to invest.
Yep. Yeah,
you know.
Absolutely.
So how do you protect yourself? How do you ensure that there's it's transactional?
Yep.
2 people or more are going to benefit.
Yep.
Whether it's today, tomorrow, next year. And it's just really a shame because you're seeing that a lot. We saw that with IVD, with Ivorian Doll.
Yeah, when she went to the shops and stuff like that.
We saw the whole
issue. It was Ivorian Doll that was talking about the guy that owned the rights to her name.
Yes,
and then I think it's DDB was the one that went to the shop.
Oh, so when I tell you there's a lot going on when it comes to, it's just simple. It's what people think that they forget that music is just a product. It's like when you go to, when you're doing a business for any other business, you'd have paperwork. So why do you just leave that out when it comes to music? It doesn't even, make sense.
That's big, man. I'm not even going to lie to you. A lot of people within the industry are in tears because of lack of contracts and just artists and relationships just completely falling apart. Now, staying in America, in the United States of America, where American-Jamaican singer Sean Kingston, oh, you're so beautiful, has reportedly been charged with grand theft as an arrest warrant in his name connection over an unpaid jeweler. Now, according to TMZ, the beautiful girl singer was charged in connection with the grand theft over jewelry that was delivered to him. Now, police sources told the outlet that Kingston has not yet paid for the goods, leading to the arrest warrant. The criminal complaint also notes that the bail will be set at $45,000 and that Sean Kingston could serve up to 3 years in prison if convicted in connection with this case. Now, well, Sean Kingston appeared to react to the reports by posting Instagram clips, including showing off a diamond-studded watch on his Instagram page. Let's talk about it. You mentioned it about 2 or 3 times already. Clout
and keeping up with the Joneses.
Exactly.
Oh, artists.
We're seeing this attitude where artists are suddenly starting to believe that, you know, the jewelry on your neck is actually what represents the amount in your pocket. And in cases like this, it's starting to show that it doesn't actually match. And some of these jewelers as well even give people chains and wristwatches on paid plans. Jeez. And a lot of fans don't know that. Talk to me about keeping up with the Joneses and just doing craziness to keep up.
Financial management is killing our people, especially in the African industry, especially when if we just now take it back to Afrobeats. Right now, the boys are looking at the boys in Atlanta. Let's be honest, they are matching. Berners and David's jewelry alone is literally. I feel like I'm in LA.
It's like but the thing is,
like literally,
unfortunately for 90 8% of the Afrobeats artists, Burna and David,
They are on
they
different
are on a
paychecks.
different level.
Look at Sean Kingston, and at a high, I even remember Sean Kingston being on like a real estate show in America. So when I say at his height of his career, I can see where I have to keep up. I want to be in downtown. I don't want to be in the sticks. I want to be in so and so and so. I don't want to be my mama's house.
Mr. Chow
I understand.
And all of that stuff.
Honey, yes.
Where's
Benihana,
10,000?
Yes, the Hakkasan's. We have to eat at where we have to eat at.
I went to Hakkasan one time. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, shout outs to my brother Efe. He was like, let's go to Hakkasan, and we ate. And he was on his bill, but I caught the bill.
Yeah.
I saw something like $1,000.
Yeah, on my, literally, I went to Park Chinois on my birthday, and when I tell you it's not, listen, listen, London living as in SE1 or anything after any WC1 living is another, it's a different level, and let's not mistake ourselves, artists, yes, you have to keep up because it's image is part of your brand. I get it, especially for the men, because whether we like it or not, Shopsy, currency for men is money. Currency is money. For women, it's about how we look.
How you look.
The currency for a man is how much he can, show what I've got. That's why we have OBO. That's why we have Odogu. That's why we have the, I'm the child. I'm the star. I'm the one. I shine. So I understand that you have to keep up. I understand all of that. But at the end of the day, financial management is what's going to keep you. There's longevity. Absolutely. What's the point of stunning for one day? And then tomorrow, 45K and 3 years in prison.
Or 2-3 years later, do you know how many Afrobeats artists that were shining about 2 years ago that now
nothing to show
nothing is happening?
Yeah. And you know what will make them sleep well at night is if they paid their rent. If they pay their rent and if they paid, honestly, that's what will make you sleep well at night. Whether or not you have artists, people looking for your streams, people looking for your music. If you 2 years ago were banging and you saved some of that money and you're still able to pay rent, you will sleep fine.
You'll be fine.
But artists don't want to hear that. So I think financial management is really important. When reality started popping in the UK and in America, it was Keisha Cole. She was one of the first people to do reality. I realized she was one of the first. I realized just how bad Black people are at managing their money, especially when they have aunties, uncles,
there were a lot of people in the family and the family
taking the money.
Yes,
I saw it.
I saw.
You remember? And when I think of people,
her and her mom, her and her sister, everybody fell out.
She had to at some point. I think she was always fighting with her financial manager. Was almost like spoon for you can't spend that money today. You cannot do that today. If you do this, it's gonna do this. Wow, but. Come on, Keisha. It was literally a fight. And I think that is why, again, it always goes down to people like me, like you, the professionals. Have people in your corner that can say no to your mum. That can say no to your dad. That can say no to that transaction. Because next week or next month, you need to pay for your house. Because the mortgage is still on a run. Because your kids still have to go to school next year and the year after.
And you also have to promote.
And you still have your music to uphold. Why are you
spending $45,000? Thank you. I was speaking to a friend of mine, shout out to Tahir Liu. I was speaking to him and I said, I'm seeing people spending tens of thousands of dollars on bling and material and stuff, but they are yet to spend that on marketing
on
of
their own
content.
Project. Shake this table.
So
Shopsy,
I'm
shake
thinking,
this table.
how are you going to go to the next level when you can afford to buy a $1,000 whatever chain, yet you are not ready to pay PR for £2,000.
Okay.
You haven't paid advertisements. 3,000. You haven't done that, and you expect.
Do you know how much dancers take now? Do you know how much dancers take?
Bro, some of the dancers in America, let's talk about it. Some of the super celebrity dancers in America, I know of these. I've helped some of my clients pay for it. I'm talking $1,000.
Good. I'm glad you said it.
No.
I'm glad because when you're saying these numbers.
And they deserve it too. Shout out to all my dancers around the world.
Look what Izzy did the other day for the Ginger Me song, the Wizkid and Burna. Look what Izzy, the dancer, look what she did.
That's
she
$1,000. No, listen.
She smashed it.
When she comes on for you and you sit her down and you tell her that you want her to dance to your record, because guess what? She doesn't only dance to the record. She creates. She finds a scene. Listen. She's got lights. She's got outfits. She's got
a whole team going out with her.
Let me tell you something. When you watch her videos, you might not be listening to the song yet, but just the imagery and the social, the slow motion, you want to hear what song
I'm
she's
gonna
dancing
play it
to.
again. I'm gonna play it to look at her and see her
Shout
body
out
doing.
to
Yeah,
all
Izzy,
these
man.
incredible
Yes,
dancers
yes.
that have added so much value to our culture. That's part of marketing.
Adding value.
Yes.
And I mean, Shopsy, you already know
Yeah.
all these things that they're buying. Okay, gold doesn't depreciate, whatever. But at the end of the day, adding value in the right places is what's
Absolutely.
going to help you and not give you a 3-year, looking at a 3-year jail term time.
Casanova has been arrested for alleged crime affiliations in New York. G Herbo, we heard, was it G Herbo?
Yes, it was G Herbo the other day for fraud, for trying to get a flight. I mean,
booking
listen,
flights on and
image
swindling
gang,
people.
image gang is killing us.
So the pressure for people. I'm looking at artists in Nigeria that aren't even being booked for 200,000 naira.
Okay.
On Instagram trying to show that they're buying $1,000 chains. It's crazy.
Do you know what's gonna? You're not gonna
It's
kill
mad.
me. Do you know what? You know what's so funny? I'm yet to see anyone getting caught doing fraud because they had to pay for their music. I can't wait for the day because it's so crazy.
We know that
I
you're
want
trying to do
something.
it.
Like it's not right. I don't
It's not
condone
right.
it, but it's like,
But
yo,
at least you're trying to, because a lot of that's the
Watches.
problem. And when we're watching all of these happen, it's almost like, where are the advisors? Where's the management?
They're complicit. I think management. Sometimes people have managers that are just complicit. They want to
Talk
enjoy.
about it,
They want to
please.
enjoy. I mean, let's not talk about R. Kelly, but they want to enjoy whatever is going on.
Like
you
the
know?
artist
yes,
is enjoying.
They're enjoying.
So
Either
they
enjoying
fan
or
those
they
flames.
want, or they're happy with the artist going downhill because that demise is they're gonna whatever they're making out of that demise is benefiting from. Yeah, and unfortunately, there's people like that. It's sad, but that's it. And so again, it's having the right people around you in terms of your team, because how can you be looking at a 3-year jail time because of jewelry? Because you just want to shine. I'm gonna shine. You shine, no.
Nah, it's crazy. Now, well, from that, we know that 2020 has been a very difficult year for many, but the Afrobeats industry has still seen many highlights, from album releases to virtual concerts to award nominations to a few scandals as well. Now, in this segment, we want to take a look at some of those by starting up with social media shattering moments of 2020. Now, some of the headlines that I picked for us to have a look at was, the top one was the D'banj story. Unfortunately, the rape allegation story. We have to stress again that the case has been dismissed in court. But at the time when that story broke, if that was your client, how devastated.
I was devastated, period. It didn't have to. D'banj did not have to be my client for me to be devastated, because I never forget this. I remember my dad came back from Lagos with the paper. I think it was Tongolo.
Yeah.
I will never forget.
Wow.
I will never forget that day.
Wow.
I know. I never forget where I was when I heard. I was like, Dad, what's that? Like, who is this?
Yeah.
So for me,
what he meant to
what
the
he
culture.
means to me, he still means a lot to me. Shout out to D'banj, Mohit, to all of them, because first of all, the case was dismissed. I don't condone or support anything that happened. The whole drama, because there was a lot of drama with the kidnapping, or the girl was. There's just it was a very messy.
It was a messy
situation. So for me, it doesn't look good. Again, who is advising him? I have to go back, because
some of the close advisors.
Yes, I know it's not. I know it's not Don Jazzy's lot, or Don Jazzy, because if you notice, they're not together anymore. But also, if you notice, Don Jazzy, because he's just such a
the way he moves,
moved during that as well. The way he brought out a statement, it was just so classy. I'm like, this is a boss. This is a boss. So I don't know who handled. Yes. So for me, I'm not a lawyer, but sometimes I think I am. I always
thinking about the legal ramifications.
Yes, the legal ramifications, as well as how do you salvage the artist, whether they're right or wrong. How do you make them look as best as possible? Sometimes
within the situation.
Yes. Sometimes it is owning up if that's what you've done.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's keeping quiet so that the course can get sorted. But this, for me, it was done so messy. It was such a messy situation. The girl to everyone involved, both parties, mess. biggest mess I've seen. I'm devastated for D'banj. He's been
also
through a lot. He's been through a lot, but he's
yeah.
an amazing artist who's had
And
such
also,
strong highs.
even the lady as well, whatever anybody wants to say, the fact that she was also, caught up in that situation, even though we don't, eventually the story has gone. However, that must have been another traumatic experience.
Honestly, so
for
traumatic
a young
for
lady.
her. I mean, I can only imagine what she went through, and I'm hoping that she got the support. She gets the support she needs.
Very important.
Yes, and I think she's the one that got the case to be dismissed because I think she withdrew her complaint, and so I can only imagine why or what the premises behind that decision. But I do hope that this is a lesson for her, for D'banj. I'm sure this is a biggest lesson for him because he's obviously been able to just gather his strength and really sort himself out as an artist because nobody is beyond anything. That's what 2020 has taught me. And for the lady, I wish her the best, and I really hope that if you need help, she definitely needs help after what happened anyway. I really hope she got the help that she deserves. But for D'banj, he's an example for all artists. Doesn't matter what level of your career you're at, because you might be thinking he should be enjoying himself right now. He should be relaxing, taking shows when he feels like it. Relax, because he's D'banj.
Legendary status.
He's D'banj. Legendary status, period. So
and all of a sudden, that type of stuff just can crash.
And he's been through quite a lot in the public media in the past 2 years, So I really, really hope that his family and him as well, his whole team can really learn from this. Yes, definitely. But the lady as well.
The lady more,
yes,
more
definitely. And it also goes to show how much safeguarding needs to happen within the music industry.
Yes.
There's certain people I can come here today because I have so much respect for you because you have respect for me, and I think that is what people need to do, have respect for each other.
Let's talk about this before we go into some of the headlines. You and I have spoken about women in our industry and to be as blunt as possible, the lack of respect, lack of opportunities for women that are busting their ass in this industry and working extremely hard. Talk to me about, being a woman in this Afropop, Afrobeats music industry and some of the difficult challenges that you have to walk through.
I mean, there's nothing revolutionary that I'm saying. It is simple respect each other as a human being. I think when you walk into a room as a woman, it's always is she sure about what she's saying? Despite my, I've worked with this person or that person, or I work professionally 9 to 5 in this field, in this industry. This is my job. So it's always the second guessing. But for me personally, how I have managed to overcome that is to work with people that respect you. Absolutely. And do not work with people that do not. Don't be waiting so that you can don't turn yourself into a victim. If you meet somebody once and the propositions or the conversations are not around the business, the artist, the music, then you don't meet them again. That's how I do. And if I feel as though I'm somewhere and the person next to me or on the right to me does not defend me or isn't unable to, I don't also hold that against them. And that's one thing I want. I know it's a hard thing to say, but I think a lot of women underestimate how I wouldn't say cowardly, but just how anxious men are also to address their peers,
their
peers
and
as peers as well. So you might be more confident. You'd be shocked how much more confident I am to address something than the man sitting to the left of me. So there's that as well. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Take it upon yourself as a woman. If you really feel like I'm here to stay, I'm in the industry, I've got something to give it. Give it to who you want to give it to. But also ensure that if you feel like you're in a situation, have that power. Like, you have the power. If you're not as confident as me or as somebody else, or like Shopsies, you know what you mean what you say.
So you find people that can support
you. If you're not, don't go. I don't like to go. I'm here alone today because I can, because it's you. But there's some places I do not even try. I don't even want to even give the I just
put
don't
yourself
go alone.
in that position.
Yes, but that's how it is in the industry. You kind of work with what you've got. You understand you understand the terrain. Like, if I'm going to Lagos now and I'm going to meet execs, I understand that I need to leave It's a different ball game. I know I have to leave hours early. I know that even though we scheduled the meeting last week and yesterday, I still have to call to make sure it's still on. It's just part and parcel of the, where you're going. So the same thing. When you're a woman, you have to know what you're doing. You have to understand this is what it is. We're changing it step by step. People like you helping us lead the way. That's it. That's all we can do. But be positive about it and don't expect much from people. Do it yourself. Set the standard yourself.
Set the standard yourself. And big shout outs to you and a lot of people that are really, really fighting this front. Now, another story that caught the headlines was sadly Funke Akindele's birthday party that went viral during the EndSARS movement. Now, we've got to be honest, shout outs to everybody that has abided by the rules during shout outs. You have to stay clear of everything. But a lot of people did one way or another, flout the rules. Unfortunately for her, the
Boris
video
is
went
flouting
out.
the rules.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson is flouting the rules.
The video went out and she caught a lot of heat for that. She went to court for it. She received a fine for that.
I love Funke.
She is an absolute icon.
She's my favorite person. She's my idol.
She
love
is,
her.
and I don't think a lot of people understand the many hats that this woman wears.
Yeah.
So she's an actress.
Yeah.
She's a producer. She assists in writing. She works with directors. She is a business mogul.
I didn't know you were going to bring her up today, by the way. I don't know if I told you about her before.
Listen,
that she's my favorite person.
So she's just one of my favorite people too. So that's why
I feel me.
It was painful.
Yes.
To see that situation. What were your thoughts when that one came out? You must have been like,
"Oh, sis, not you."
I know.
Okay, this is it. I mean.
But
again,
she owned it.
She did. She's just
1000%.
so elegant,
Yeah,
isn't she?
She was elegant about it.
She's so elegant about it, and I think that's what you do. Like I said earlier, there will be times where you have to hold your hand up and say, I did this because you're in the public media, because there's scrutiny, there's things like that. When it comes to the territory, she is an icon. She's a force to be reckoned with.
No doubt.
So, like you said,
doubt.
she just wears so many hats, and she's very open about her shortcomings. That's what she actually inspires me about her. It's not all the glitz, the glam, even though it is.
Yeah,
but it's mainly when you don't do something wrong. Funke has a way of teaching people through her movies, through her music, how to overcome setbacks.
Adversities.
Yes. So this is a clear example of showing what she preaches in practice. So for me, elegantly done. Again, the whole of Lagos, the whole of Nigeria is flouting the rules. So I found it sad that they picked on her.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, like we saw the Omah and Tems situation, because she was a big name, and obviously there are also people that wouldn't like the fact that she's super successful, continues to be successful without. Remember, her superstar status is purely because of the huge fan base and her incredible talent.
She's amazing.
So because of that talent, a lot of people know that, this God-given talent that this woman has, there's nothing you can do to take it away from her.
There's nothing.
And the fan base are loyal.
I mean, anything you tell me about Funke, I would it's not because I don't know how to explain it. She is the person she says she is. And a lot of celebrities that are in the limelight aren't. She's authentic, and that's why we love her.
Absolutely. Now moving into some sad stories where we lost a couple of dancers this year. The first was the beautiful lady that was sadly lost at I think it was a video shoot in Lagos. One of the most popular dancers in Lagos. Then we had the dancer and vlogger who had sadly passed away in London or in the UK during childbirth. And then we had one of the most famous Afrobeats dancers, legendary, in Dre of D3 Dancers, who sadly passed away again due to an illness, all during this, the COVID situation. And it was a tough time for not only the entertainment industry as a whole, but particularly the strong community of dancers who I said should be credited for some of the most influencing roles in promoting Afrobeats music to the rest of the world.
Yes.
So this was a very big blow for that community.
No, 100%, and just rest in peace to those beautiful, beautiful ladies.
Absolutely.
I don't even know where to start with Nicole because
Nicole
I
and Rain.
actually became so in love with her and her partner because
I'm
because
having goosebumps now that you're
honestly
talking about it.
because again, you know, when people are just
Being
free,
real.
and you know what I love?
Real.
I love black love, free love,
they promoted
young,
it.
learning
They
from each
promoted
other.
it
They
so
loved each other,
well.
Shopsy, and
So
it was
well.
just beautiful to see people that love black music. They love Afrobeats, and they'll promote it. And when I say the dancing, these lovely ladies that have been unfortunate to not be with us today, but the music lives on because of their moves. I remember a throwback when Afrobeats in like 2011, 2012 was beginning to pop in
That's
university.
D3. That was when D3 dancers were moving. Fuse ODG and
my flatmate, she is from Sheffield. She is as white as it comes. She didn't know anything. When I tell you, because of the Azonto, she's like, Laura, you're gonna sit here, you're gonna teach me all the moves because of those dancers. That's it. Because of those dancers. You're right. It literally opened the floodgates.
Absolutely. And till today, a lot of Afrobeats artists are benefiting from the hard work of these dance influencers.
That tells you about the creative direction always has to be on point. And this is why I always say, even now in COVID, one of the things that we're suffering from is not being able to do live shows.
Absolutely.
So when you have creative dancers, people like that in your back pocket, it's understanding how to not necessarily replace live shows, but how to kind of use this new tool of an online live experience
media,
to something else.
YouTube performances,
use it to elevate it to the next level, because I'm telling you that you've got it on. These are culture shifted. These are girls that have gone ahead of us.
Absolutely.
You can, like D3 then.
They
Come on,
Nyanya,
everywhere, everyone.
It, man.
So I do. Honestly, like this year has been one of the. Like, you have to be human this year. Like, you have to show emotion for what has gone on this year. We had Kobe at the beginning of the year. We've had everything go on. Chadwick.
Tough. Yeah.
Come on.
Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther.
We've had the president, the ex-president, the Ghanaian.
Jerry Rollins. It was tough, and finishing with with that segment was obviously the NSAS movement with the uprising, where the young people in Nigeria decided to speak out against police brutality and standing for justice and calling for justice in the country. And obviously that led to celebrities speaking out, Runtown and Fowles kicking off the marches, and then people like Tiwa Savage and the rest of them really stepping up, and eventually led to Tiwa Savage's video of calling out Beyonce, where a lot of people also were like,
and then we had
that was an emotional time.
That was a very emotional time.
That's why I'm still wearing the shirt.
That's the top that we got done. We got that created.
Gave me the shirt. Absolutely.
I'm so grateful that when I say that people like you are genuine, because you do actually genuinely believe in the culture, and you believe in wanting better for the people.
Absolutely.
So we went out, we were there. We had Wizkid come out. We had Burna Boy come out. Everyone literally came out in London, and honestly, when I say that was one of the most poignant moments of our, just us as a people in the diaspora. But if we go back to Tiwa and Beyonce's mother's response,
and
because
Beyonce's
mom responded, and the PR,
they didn't want none of that.
Let me tell you something again. It goes back to when I say, it's knowing how to use the tools in your arsenal. Don't take a gun to a fight with your fist. I mean, that's kind of how I felt happened. I mean, you can talk to your friend and be like, hey girl, I have something that I want you to help me out with.
I think it was
team. She could have reached out to the team.
I know, I was one of the people that also thought, maybe she could have reached out to the team. Unfortunately, we were all dealing with emotions. I'll be honest with you, that we had never felt before.
But why are you? That's the problem I'm trying to say. When you are filled with emotion,
maybe
do not target it at one person or personality. It's not fair. Because Beyonce, she doesn't need to give a damn. Unfortunately, she doesn't. She does because she reaps the benefits from being black. And being able to parallel from the culture.
And she just benefited from the culture and stuff like that.
That is because she's black though. Not because she benefits because she's black. She does have to care. She does care. But it doesn't mean she has to show that she cared so openly. I just feel
because
like
there's also politics playing.
I feel like to be honest with you, if you didn't tweet NSARS, it's just a shame that you didn't tweet it. But it's not a shame on you because it's not your responsibility. It's just not. Some people don't have Twitter. What then? Okay, she does have Twitter. Okay, fine. She does have Instagram.
I think we were just so emotional and people. We were in a situation where some of us would have said things that possibly with calmer heads would not have said. I, for one, was very emotional around that time because I've said it many a times that, Nigeria is benefiting from a PR that they never paid for in recent years.
Of course.
The Nigerian entertainment sector, filled with young men and women, is solely responsible for the rebranding of Nigeria's image to the rest of the world.
It's 100%.
And it is our duty to ensure that the people that are responsible for the rebranding and the new popularity for Nigeria, if they're feeling a sense of pain and discomfort, it is our responsibility, particularly those of us that in some way or another has benefited from this young generation who are busting their behinds in record labels, in fashion studios, in movie studios to stand up and speak on their behalf. And sometimes,
agreed.
Your blood might just be bubbling over, and you say one or two things.
It was definitely emotionally charged, and her heart was in the right place. At the end of the day, Tiwa she's had a phenomenal year. God, Tiwa has had a phenomenal year. Incredible 10 years. But this year's just the whole coming together, the Celia project, and everything else. I mean, she had every right to feel the way she felt. I'm just saying, for anybody, it's just when you point your aggression at somebody who has no authority to do anything, as in, it is not in her God-given authority or any authority for Beyonce to do anything about what the government is doing to Nigeria. So it's just towing that line with calling somebody out. Why? What was the need? Because... And now and then what? Beyonce's mom is telling you, calm down. No need.
Because you also have to understand Beyonce's mom's sensitivities. She had just come off a couple of weeks or a couple of months before that where they criticized Beyonce for not speaking out on the Black Lives Matter situation. And then when she did, she came out with a video that also had a filter and people slammed her for
that video. People need to leave Beyonce alone. Because do you know what? When people don't realize these artists are human beings. So when you're not...
As well.
We all have insecurities. It's normal.
I completely agree.
I love Beyonce. Beyonce, we love you. Tiwa, we love you. Honestly, they're doing amazing.
For me, one of the reasons why I've spoken about Beyonce in the last 1 year is particularly when she did the Gift album. I am very quick to remind people. First of all, she's black, which means she's African.
Period.
Second of all, she didn't have to come and collaborate.
Thank you.
Before she earned a buck. She could have done this without the African culture and still bagged the 20-something million or whatever.
That's it.
So the fact that she collaborated,
she put
also
them on the
elevated
album.
And promoted and celebrated the African culture, she deserves nothing but utmost respect and applause for what she did in my eyes.
Amen.
She gave a lot of people a
credit.
check.
Okay.
And credit.
Credit and checks. And to me, that is what matters most. Credit. If you don't hear anything from me today, is credit and checks.
She brought people to the table. I know when the album came out, how it elevated the Spotify listeners of every single artist on that project. And I know that.
And the fallout, and this is what people don't
know that.
People don't understand that the fallout from that isn't just that their playlists are now going to be elevated. It's everything else. It's that whole shift to Afrobeats.
It was a
so
big
now
spot.
in Clubhouse, all the A&Rs that are at Warner in America,
They're
in Universal,
looking for-
yeah,
they're
we
looking-
like if
we
we
like
can, if
some
you
of
got
that
any Afrobeats out, it's like, yeah, we trying to hear it all. Yeah, you send it to this email because
Everybody wants to hear it.
Yes, and I'm not saying Beyonce is not responsible for Afrobeats going huge, but
But
there's certain
it's
shifts.
a vehicle.
Period.
You know, when people, I remember when people were talking about Drake. Drake didn't do nothing for
Yeah.
Afrobeats. I want to
Yeah.
remind people.
Yeah.
At the time when Drake collaborated with Wizkid, even till today, Drake is one of the top 3 television programs in the world. By that I mean he is one of the most followed people
in
within the
the
music
world, yeah.
culture. So if he decides to say, this is the sound I want to put out now,
I can do
guess
whatever
what
the hell I
happens?
want.
There are
Yeah.
a lot of fans
Yeah.
that would discover this new genre just
Because
because
of Drake.
of Drake's
Period.
collaboration.
No, you're
so
100%
people
right.
need to understand and appreciate some of these
And
stuff.
a lot of people don't understand that how the music world works on the out. The thing that you don't
Yes,
see is
yes.
that sometimes we, especially back in the day, they'll program what people listen to. So
Yep.
this is what the sound is going to be for 2020, and this is what we're going to do. So if someone like Drake and his team decide that it's going to be Afrobeats,
and went to Afrobeats,
the rest of the world is going to hear
is gonna
Afrobeats.
turn to
period.
that.
So it's just understanding how much value one artist has.
Absolutely.
And in unlocking and showcasing talent, which is Afrobeats for us.
Absolutely.
Especially the Nigerian Afrobeats, the
Yeah.
West African Afrobeats in
Yeah,
West Africa.
the West
So,
African sound.
yeah,
You know, it's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
So big shout outs to absolutely everybody. And finally, we've come to a segment that you're not going to be able to stand on the fence or sit on the fence with this one. These are the top albums of 2020. Now, a lot of projects have been released in 2020, but I wanted to discuss some of these highlight projects with my sister, Elle, here, obviously, and then we'll eventually have to pick 5 albums that we top 5 in whatever order, just 5.
Shopsy
But
want to
before-
kill me.
But before that, I want you just to run through some of the projects that you've gone
Okay,
on your
Wow,
list there. It's
so
a lot.
many.
It's a lot. You know-
Okay, let's start off with the heavyweights. You've had
Yeah.
Made in Lagos,
Yep.
A Better Time,
Yep.
Celia,
Yep.
Twice as Tall.
Yep.
You know, we have Carpe Diem.
Yep.
That's one of my top. Oh, let me not tell you anything. Olamide's album. If you've not heard it this year,
I've
you're
said
slipping.
it a million times.
That-
For me, guess what?
I'm not a big fan, by the way.
But let me tell you this. For me,
Mm-hmm.
if you told me to pick the top guy, the surprise guy of 2020,
Olamide.
it has to be Olamide.
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
for 10 years,
Yes.
he's been at the top of the game.
Yeah.
And this year was the one year that a lot of people would not expect a
Yeah.
project like this, because we're looking at the Burners, the Waves,
Yes.
the Davidos, the people that have really...
Agreed.
But
I am
that
not even an
album-
Olamide fan. I am. Obviously, you can not be a fan of Olamide, but I'm not like a super fan.
Exactly. But
But
that
that
album-
album, hello Olamide, I'm here. I'm here for you. I hear it.
That album
I hear
was
it.
banging.
It
That album
banged.
was banging,
It was
yeah.
loud, very
Well,
loud.
well, that
What else?
album's-
Adekunle Gold. We had
Afropop.
this Afropop project,
Yep.
Volume 1. So
Yep.
we're looking at Volume 2.
You already said that. Wizkid already put that one out of the...
We had DJ Spinall. He came out with Grace the other
Grace,
day, and he had
yeah.
a couple of our favorite
had
tracks
a
in the
lot of-
past. He had a
yeah,
lot. We've
a
had
lot.
World Afro Soul, Aya Nakamura. Like we've had, like
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin. Apollo, Fireboy.
Exactly, Apollo. But Apollo, I want us to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible music, fantastic writing ability, incredible vocal range.
Yes.
But perhaps the target was different.
Yes, it definitely was. I feel like Apollo, because of what he put out last year, people just assumed that it's just going to
Be a follow-up and
follow
yeah.
up. But I think some of these artists are growing at a rate that we just never understood.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought,
I
okay,
think-
it's gonna take, maybe it will take him 2 years,
Yeah,
3
but he
years.
just quickly went.
Quick. I don't blame him though, because
Isn't that a
Apollo
big
might
risk?
be. It's a risk, but
Because LTG is classic.
oh my god!
And not that many people come out with a classic
my God.
album.
But he's just at the beginning of his career. I still feel like he's at the beginning
Absolutely.
of his career.
No, he
So
is.
for me, I feel
He
like
can take a risk
He
now.
can take the risk, and what I advise for artists at the beginning of your career:
Take the
work
risk.
with as many people as possible. Change your style as many times as you want. How long did it take Adekunle to get the
To
perfect
get-
brand?
yeah.
And like he's sexy now. I
Oh
mean,
my
sorry,
God,
he's
Adekunle
couldn't go tick sexy. A few years ago, his brand wasn't
Sexy
tick and
and
sexy.
young.
Yes,
But now he's tick that.
yeah.
sexy
So
and
so
young.
he. I feel like for me personally, Apollo done well. And honestly, he can do whatever he wants. He's got time. Do whatever you
to
want.
find himself.
And he's done really well. He's put some for me because I'm a sync head. I know I
Yeah.
put stuff in movies, and he's got some sync stuff from
From
the
Empire with
yes.
the FIFA stuff.
Exactly. So
Absolutely.
so him, Raymar, they're really doing their thing.
Yeah, the Young Bucks. Obviously, some of the albums I put here was, like you said,
Ranking.
Sarkodie, Pato Ranking, Yemi Alade, Tiwa
Yes.
Savage,
Oh my gosh.
Sauti Soul, Busiswa, My
Sauti
Story,
Soul.
Niniola, Colors and Sounds.
That's a dope album too.
That's a crazy album.
She's got Afrobeat on one of the tracks. Oh no.
You know what she's done? Niniola has done R&B, Afro House, and Afro Beats. She has, and then she did Afro
Killed
Swing.
it.
No,
Killed
Colors
it.
and Sounds was crazy.
Crazy.
Maybe the promotion wasn't
Yes,
big
I
enough.
mean,
What
when
happened?
I talk on the albums, I'm talking about right now when we're
Content.
we're talking about content.
Content,
I'm not talking
yeah.
about how it was
That's
distributed.
fine.
We're not talking about the like you said,
the awareness.
weak. Yeah, so I feel like some albums were weak in terms of the
Suffered
execution. You know,
based on
yes, definitely in terms of the
promotions.
rollout, in
Yeah.
terms of how to actually have project release strategies, things like that. Like there's a lot of them that are questionable.
Yeah.
People thought as well. Celia, do you know what's
Yeah.
happening with Celia? Celia, in my
Why
opinion.
are people? We have said. I think I spoke about this. I forgot who I spoke about it. Maybe it was Gracie or it was somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Why are people criticizing
Celia?
Yeah, because
They don't
for
understand
me,
the music
I
business.
actually believe, but to be honest with you, I actually believe that Celia is one of the best Afrobeats albums to have come out in 2020. Tiwa Savage, to me, I'm a huge Tiwa Savage fan, but I'm quick to remind people that I jumped on Tiwa Savage bandwagon very early. With her R&B soul vibe.
So you understand the artist. You understand where she wants to go in her career. You understand her goals and her metrics.
So whenever even for me, even though I like the Koroba, I like all of that stuff,
that's
but
not
I jump off the table when she touches the R&B.
Baby, for me,
All the quality, all of that stuff. When she does those stuff,
gosh,
I'm like, don't play with Tiwa.
So for me as well, I agree with you. At first, I was like, oh, what's this? The promotion, But honestly, Celia is a incredible project. You have the writers. She's showcasing Maestro as a writer. Malogo, Fireboy. She's showcasing even the band, the City Royal band. Yo, come on. So one thing I will say, I think we're very impatient. We're impatient. That is why I feel like the Afrobeats community can be impatient. They want now. So where Tiwa may have a 6-month rollout for this same thing that she's just giving to us. Look at a better time. He's coming out with it now. Everyone, he's brought out this, So
let's talk about.
Sometimes it's like that.
Let's talk about A Better Time quickly before you choose your top 5.
Mm-hmm.
David has mad collaborations on that album that I think are absolutely groundbreaking for the Afropop culture. Incredible state.
That's an
Lil
Afrobeats
Baby,
album.
Nicki Minaj, the list goes on.
Yes, it does.
However, in terms of sonic album, I think the different sounds might throw us off.
It threw me off. And let me just be honest with you, A Better Time threw me off.
I'm such a big David fan that I get what he was trying to do with hitting the different notes, Afro house,
do you know what I've
and stuff
noticed?
like that. But I felt like sonically, it just threw me off a little
I
bit.
like A Better Time. I like all the songs on A Better Time. Do you know what? Guess what I've noticed? I like A Better Time
A Better Time sounds better. If a good time.
Oh, it's better than A Better Time.
Even
but
better now.
A Better Time, I like it when I listen to it randomly. So I like the songs randomly. When I listen to them, I like the song when I listen to them as singles. So if I'm rolling to A Better Time, some of the songs on A Better Time, I might listen to it and then I might listen to another song by another artist and then I come back to a different A Better Time song. That is when I enjoy A Better Time.
Because the tempo
is matched. Yes. But when A Better Time together collectively, whoever A&R'd it as a project together, yeah, or maybe he needed to get someone to A&R it correctly to match. So if you look at people that were saying, "Oh, WizKid's Made in Lagos was boring,"
but
they didn't understand. For me,
that was crazy.
that was one of the most beautiful listening experiences
the
I
best.
had.
When it comes to sonic levels, and I think WizKid reached that level with Soundman EP.
Yeah, but people.
So this was like the setup.
People didn't know. People were listening.
Yeah.
People were listening to the Soundman EP.
He was
knew
the setup.
it. Yes.
When I listened to that Soundman EP, I'm like, this guy's going somewhere here.
He was setting us up, but
and
a lot of people didn't get the message.
Was just a smash for that.
A lot of people didn't get the message. Made in Lagos, by the way, for me, is one of my top 5.
Well, let's go into the top 5. You've got 5, so let's start naming them.
Made in Lagos, I can't.
Yeah,
think.
Made in Lagos is one. Which one?
Oh God.
You talked about Olamide. Is he in there?
Yes, 100%.
Two.
Carpe Diem is in there. Not Twice as Tall. Oh, I don't know how I could do that. But not Twice as Tall. I like
Adekunle Gold.
Adekunle Gold, yes, just because of Pretty Girl.
Yeah.
Patoranking because of Abule.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and the rest of the stuff was amazing.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Celia.
Boom. My 5, fantastic. My 5, Black Love by Sarkodie.
Yes.
Twice as Tall, without doubt.
Okay.
Made in Lagos. I can't go anywhere
yeah,
without Made in Lagos.
Me too.
Adekunle Gold, Afropop sneaks into that 5.
Yeah.
And Olamide shocked the world. In Carpe
Diem.
You know, big shout outs to everybody else like Yemi Alade, Tiwa, and Patoranking. And Busiswa and Niniola.
No. My gosh, Nini's. Can I just have a number?
No, but those 5, we have to leave it at those 5, man. The top 5, you know, once again, this is just a reflection of some of the songs that we're listening to and some of the sounds that we're listening to. I, and particularly yourself, Elle, we appreciate the hard work that goes into creating an album.
100%.
A lot of people outside of the music business don't understand some of the sacrifices that artists and creatives make to put a project together. And I can tell you that I appreciate every single project that has been put together in 2020, in one of the most difficult years that we've experienced.
So much music.
Ever. But shout outs to the Afropop and African artists that have come together and put stuff out. Kwame Eugene, the list goes on.
Flavor of Africa.
Flavor album is ridiculous.
World Afro Soul.
No,
Kiddie, Blue. Blue was really good. It had Say Cheese, had some other stuff as well.
Omale's breakout project.
Okay, Oxlade, NSG,
Oxygen.
Roots.
Listen, we could go all day.
You know.
But once again, that wraps up this episode, of course, of the Afrobeats Podcast, Adesope Live, for the year. Thanks again to our sponsors, World Remit, supporters, Afri-Media, Willow Studios, LM Media, Io Maurice, of course, FanBees. Make sure you join FanBees. You can get shout-outs there. Hit everybody up. It's a fantastic app. It's created by incredible Africans. And my guest, the super intelligent music business mogul, my sister, you know, Elle. Big shout outs to yourself and your team for everything you're doing, man.
Thank you for having me.
You know, we'll definitely be doing this a lot more in 2021. So to you and your family, please keep safe. Have a wonderful Christmas. Eat as much as you can and just live life, smile, and be happy. Until next time, catch us same place, same time. And it's peace. We're out.
Right. Right. Right.